Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bergrun. I am a singer and a reader. Today I will be doing a bit of book reviews. I hope you enjoy. This will be my 22 favorite books in 2022. This is actually going to be more than 22 books because I am considering a series as one book, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to choose, because I love the series in a whole. And I don't own all of them, so I will show you the ones that I own and then I will put a screenshot of the ones I don't, because I have this beautiful Kindle. Oh. Yes, I was reading the Zodiac Academy. Most of what I've read is on here. I've also listened to audiobooks. I started doing that this year. It's actually quite a lot of fun. And that is why I don't have a lot of books in physical form, but I really want to get them in physical form. I just need the money, okay? So bear with me. This is in no particular order. But first off, why don't we start with the obvious choice, you know? And that is ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. My least favourite would be A Court of Frost and Starlight. I found it a bit unnecessary. In whole, I think this is great storytelling. We have Farah Archeron, the youngest sister, perspective in the first three, A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Wings and Ruin. And then we have a bit of after those three and insight into Nesta Archeron, which is the oldest sister, which this book is about. I think it's a great world building. It's fated mates, fae, war, love, forbidden, enemies to lovers, everything you ever want. Next up, let's keep with Sarah J Maas. I don't have the last book. The last book is actually in transit, if you will, as in it's on its way. It'll be here tomorrow. Wow, this is a great stack. So we have all the novellas here in Assassin's Blade, and then we have Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and the last one, Kingdom of Ash, which will come up here. I haven't read I haven't read Assassin's Blade and I haven't read Empire of Storms, but currently I'm reading Tower of Dawn. Let's go over to Lauren Asha. First off, the Dreamland Billionaire series. A bit of enemies to lovers in both of these because they didn't want to really admit their love more in terms and conditions than in the fine print, where the girl was more like, he's my boss, employee, and in the fine print and in terms and conditions is also boss and employee, but also fake marriage, which I love. I love a fake relationship trope, you know. Both are quite spicy, so obviously I want all the spice and I cannot wait for the third one to come out. Keeping up with Lauren Asha, we have the Dirty Air series. In order, we have Throttled, Collided, Racked, and Redeemed. So it's about F1 drivers, there's enemies to lovers, there's fake dating. There's a lot about mental health. They overcome things, they find love, they win the world race. I can't remember what it is. I don't follow F1, but it actually made me want to start watching F1, and it really reminded me of when I used to watch F1 when I was little. Next up, Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Fake relationship, girls in STEM. I don't know anything about science, but that's okay. One bed trope. So she is a professor student. It's just so cute, spicy, a TikTok sensation. Just, I love the cover, and I have Love on the Brain and I cannot wait to read it. Next up, I want to talk about Colleen Hoover. So we have Reminders of Him, which actually broke my heart. It's very heart-wrenching. You really get to live the person's life, like struggles after coming out of prison, regrets. I was frustrated because of misunderstandings. I didn't want to yell at her to just get her shit together, but I loved it. Then we have Ugly Love, and yes, I have my tabs in the same colours, as well as this one. Looks cute, doesn't it? Friends with Benefits, Brother's Best Friend, slash neighbor, and they catch feelings, but he's not ready for that. And just what like things she said to him, you just in close to the end, it's just really hard emotionally to deal with. So that makes sense. Last of my physical copies, we have Glow. This is like one of few that I have in hardback. I don't own the other ones. This is the 4th book of the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. I really wanted this one because it is yellow and it's a signed copy as well. I want to buy the rest in these, but they're really expensive, and I want to get the paperback version of it as well. This one, obviously a chunky little bitch. The spice level has just gone up. Like, it was good before, but this, apologies. I have 2 more physical copies, and they are by G.L. Preston, Prince of the Ancients. This is a debut novel, and holy mother of everything, I fell in love. There's enemies to lovers, they go on a journey, there's dragons, there's Grumpy and Sunshine, but you know, the woman is the Grumpy we love. There's betrayal, there's magic, witches. Honestly, I wish I could write a book this good for my debut novel. And another debut novel, this one by Hannah Danielle, and same as the other one. Literally, there's magic, like solar and lunar. Sapphic, this is actually my first proper Sapphic read. I got obsessed with this one, and I cannot wait for the next one to come out. Now we are finished with my physical copies. One of my favorite ones, The Bonds That Tie by J. Bree. I actually, like, I don't know when the first book came out, but I started reading this series in January this year. Then I read the next one, and the next one, and then the next one. It's amazing world building, amazing story, fantastic characters, the plot, there's enemies to lovers, there's fated mates, it's a reverse harem, it's magic, there's shifters, there's dragons, there's gods. Next up, oh my god, The Vicious Lost Boys by Nikki St. Crow. Were you obsessed with Jeremy Sumpter in 2003 Peter Pan? Because I was. Do you want... Oh my god, I can't even say. Do you want the adult version? A bit darker? Then the Vicious Lost Boys series is for you. There's a reverse harem, enemies to lovers, so much spice. It's a dark retelling, but at the same time it's not retelling because it happens centuries after the original story. Next up, we have the Devil's Night series. Dark romance. Each book is a standalone, but it has to be read in order for the plot to make sense. You can pick up a random book, but I recommend reading it in order and read the novellas in between to get like the whole picture. You have to read the trigger warnings, like seriously, read the trigger warnings. Another Penelope Douglas is Credence, so this is a standalone. There's Age Gap, there's Forbidden Love, Reverse Harem, Step Uncle and Step Cousins, a rural, can't say that word, rural place, snowed in for the winter. Let's jump into a new release. Only came out in November, I believe. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. There's a really cute college, uni in England, romance, hockey player, ice skater. It's really well written. I listened to it on an audiobook and I usually only listen like when I'm walking or driving or like in the shop or something, but when I got home I couldn't stop. I just listened and listened, and then all of a sudden it was finished. It was really sweet, contemporary romance, new adult. And then we have the amazing Sarah Kate. This is the latest Players Club. I have now listened to all of them. I really want to own them, to display them on my shelf, because they are that good. They are standalone books, but they kind of follow a story. You can read them individually, but personally I recommend in an order. It's everything about kinks. You're basically learning so much about kinks in these books. I've learned so much, and I'm not complaining. First one is age gap, ex-boyfriend's dad, dom sub relationship. Second one is age gap, exhibitionist, voyeur, step siblings. Second one is best friend is in a marriage and 2 and 1 become 3. Polyamorous, and a lot of shibari work. And the fourth book is a femdom, age gap, the ex-boyfriend from the first book, brat, and did I like that one the most? I'm not gonna say anything. And I cannot wait for the other books. I think there's 1 or 2 more gonna come out, and I am so excited. Next, I have a few series by Tate James. If we start with The Guild, which is the 3rd series in the Shadow Grove universe. It follows characters that did come up in Madison Kate series and Hades series. You can read these books without reading the others, because there is connections, but they are individual series. I read the whole thing this year because all the books came out this year. There's a reverse harem, enemies to lovers, mafia type things, there's kidnapping, a lot of smut, love, so much spice, and like spice where you were reading it, you went okay, because you know, using weapons, that type of weapons, it's also loaded. Anyway, that opened up a whole new world to me. Then we have The Royal Trials by Tay James. That is also reverse harem. It's kind of like urban fantasy where there's magic, there's mention of gods, there's so many like plots, and the harem is like 3 brothers with 1 girl. Does it work? Yes. Should it work? No. But do I love it? Yes. And then we also have The Royals of Auburn Academy, and that's urban fiction where a girl is selected in the Princess Ballet to go into Auburn Academy, which is only for royals, and once a year is 1 person is selected to become one of them or something like that. And it's a reverse harem, dark romance, and it happens in like a castle, which is the academy or university in somewhere in Europe. I also have Heart Hassle, a series by Raven Kennedy, which is a fantasy. We have Cupids, we have Fae. It's a reverse harem. I've read the first 3, and then there's like 1 afterwards, which I haven't read, and there's also another standalone that I haven't read. But the main series, so good. There's different Faes that you haven't like heard about before, like magic. It's also funny because the main character, the Cupid, is a really funny character, quite comedic. And then I have, by the Twisted Sisters, Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. We have Forget Me Not Bombshell, which is a standalone mafia dark romance. There's reverse harem, happens in London, and the main character is sold to marry one of the guys, or the main mafia boss in London. There's so much smut. And then there's Dead Men Walking series, which is a duology. It's a standalone series, but it also follows the same characters from The Brutal Boys of Everlake Prep. It's funny, it's very comedic. The main character is like super funny. There's something wrong with him. It's kind of like mafia related. The main female character is super funny as well. There's also something wrong with her. When I say wrong with her, wrong with her in her brain. I think she's been in a psychiatric hospital and was living on the streets, and she's very, very funny. And the smut is, and the last one is the Zodiac Academy 8 Sorrow and Starlight. For some reason, or I know the reason, people were quite annoyed that Caroline and Susan said that they're going to make this series into a 9-book series instead of an 8-book series, and the book ended up being 1,200 pages, and I read it in a week. But it was so good, and I'm not mad that it's gonna be 9 books. I'm actually like sure would have been happy with it being only 8 books. I don't really mind, because all the plot twists in this book were just on another level. I did not see any of it coming, because it's a multiple POV book. The downside was that they gave POV chapters to characters that nobody cares about. I couldn't remember one of them. He got 2 chapters and I was literally like, who is that? And what does it do to the storyline? Nothing. Literally nothing. What happened in those 2 chapters could have been explained in like 2 sentences when that character was explaining what happened to him. And when it came to like Lionel chapters, I was literally just sat there, put the book down, and I was like, I can't even really be bothered to read this. And I'm like, should I skip it? Should I not? But then I'm like, I can't skip it, because what if I miss something vital? Turns out I didn't. So those chapters, in my opinion, really could have been just cut, but they weren't, so it's okay. But we see like more of Seth and Caleb, but they're still being stubborn asses. But there's fated mates, there's like fated friendships chosen by the stars. It's Fae, which is also a parallel universe to ours, like the Fae universe. So it's all like modern, and it starts out as a bully romance, enemies to lovers, forbidden romance. There's a teacher-student. The series just has me in a chokehold, like literally. I will probably never be over it, and I really want to read the other series that happened in Solaria, which is the country that they live in. So that is all for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. It's a bit of a long one, but I'm back. This was my 22 favorite books / series in 2022. The year is about to end, and we are having fun, living life, and reading so many books. This was only 22 books / series out of 108 books I've read this year. If you enjoyed and liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate it. And you can check me out on Instagram and on TikTok, where I upload regularly with some book reviews and some fun book-ish content. I hope you have a lovely rest of your year, and I'll see you in the new year. Bye bye!